Millionaire kicked his wife and daughter on the streets, and he was speechless when he saw her again. A wanderlust, a fantasy, a fairy tale. What kind of life are you living in? Make your life on standby mode and take the reverse to recall what you were and how you have become. Life is sometimes unpredictable. A number of instances are played out one time, but when life gives you twists and turns, it also makes you walk on smooth pathways. Fighting with the hurdles of life and experiencing the ups and downs of life, making you all meet with the person who never gave up, even after her parents didn't console her or give her shelter to live. Without further ado, let's meet Catherine and her daughter Mary as we proceed to their chapter of life. Here we go. Because it was simpler to list Catherine's abilities than her limitations during her childhood and adolescence, her parents insisted on Catherine's agreement when Bruce started looking after her in her last year of college and asked her to marry him. Catherine didn't particularly care for him, but she accepted since she was accustomed to deferring to her parents' wishes. Her parents claimed that because Bruce came from a respectable family with money, she could live carefree with him, and they were correct. Catherine didn't require anything, but since her marriage, nothing has changed. She had previously been subject to several restrictions, but now her husband has removed all of them. Catherine knew that she was just a wife of convenience, and as it turned out, Bruce's parents insisted that he find a wife for himself or they would cut off his access to money. So he chose to be quiet and obedient. Bruce made good money and provided for their family. The only thing Catherine was able to defend in her life was the right to work, and she worked as a teacher at a music school. Although Catherine kept the house immaculate and prepared delectable lunches and dinners, Bruce frequently skipped dinner in favor of going home. The first time Catherine experienced genuine joy when she was awake, when she first saw her newborn daughter. At that point, she realized what bliss actually is, when the heart freezes at the sight. Catherine's parents claimed that because she gave birth on her own, they would not assist her because they already had too much to do. Catherine was upset to hear this because she wanted her parents to meet their granddaughter rather than asking for assistance. Since the birth of his daughter, Bruce saw a lot of change, and he was not pleased with his daughter's nighttime weeping. Catherine no longer always had time to prepare dinner. When scandals started, Catherine did her best to calm her husband, but he was not reserved with his feelings, and his loud voice would cause young Mary to start weeping. Catherine phoned her parents and said she wanted to leave her husband, but they advised her to wait since they don't love her daughter, brother, or son enough to wait while they wait for them to develop careers and earn money while she already has everything. And during these times, Catherine rushed to her daughter, who calmed down and appeared to be a tiny princess. This continued for another 4 years, by which point Bruce had transitioned from screaming to attacking. Catherine contacted her parents once more and explained everything. She expected protection from them, but the response was the same as before. Bruce hadn't given her any money in a while. He only bought things for her when they were necessities, but she discovered times when he couldn't, so she saved money and bought things for less, or didn't buy anything at all. Catherine realized that she had done what she had become. For the first time, she and her daughter needed more than what she was earning. And after all, the house and everything in it today belonged to her husband. Once more, the husband didn't arrive in the evening. Catherine hardly slept at all, and the daughter was sick, and she was right next to her. When Bruce entered the house, Catherine didn't react right away. Later, she noticed that he had a young girl with him. He had been taunting her about how she didn't know how to react. Her husband said that he will not pay her full-fledged alimony and was not afraid to bring another hostess to show his guests. In response, she packed her bags, called her mother, and told her everything she had learned, including that her husband was right and that she needed to take care of herself and was to blame. She also declared that at her age, sitting on the neck of elderly parents should be considered dishonorable, and she was not going to do this. For some time, she hoped that they would provide shelter for her and Mary for the first time. Catherine packed the majority of her daughter's belongings into a travel bag and a few other items into a bag before entering her room. Mary was waiting at the door, dressed, and told her mother that she had heard everything. The hostess was incredibly kind when Catherine's aunt visited after learning that her acquaintance was renting a room. For the first time in her life, Catherine felt at home. There was more warmth, comfort, respect, and mutual assistance that she had ever seen before, and Catherine went to work, and her daughter attended kindergarten. Occasionally, the lady used to look after Mary, and Catherine used to cook and clean the house. In the middle of fall, Catherine and her daughter went to the park to play together. Suddenly, over the bark of the trees, a man's voice tried to join the fun, and Catherine soon began to enjoy the discussion. They began spending weekends together strolling around parks because they both had interests in a variety of topics. Chris and Mary used to play and have fun together, so Mary requested her mother invite Chris over so they could hang out frequently. When Chris's girlfriend deceived him in a romantic relationship, Catherine also shared her side of the tale, and soon after, Catherine told Chris she loved him. But the doctor gave them 6 months, and Chris insisted that they couldn't be together because of this horrible diagnosis and treatment. Here, it was crucial that Mary and Catherine gave Chris more time to live. They both gave him purpose, and Chris no longer felt so alone. Catherine didn't know what she was signing when Chris picked her up from work the following day. All she could recall was something about a house and a bank account. They then proceeded to the notary to sign documents, and Chris gave her his house because he doesn't have time to love and care for Mary and Catherine. Chris moved with Mary and Catherine, and the next week he was admitted to the hospital to spend his final days. There, Chris pleaded with Catherine to swear to him that they would be happy and that she would not let anyone treat her the way her husband had. Additionally, an entire orchestra attended Chris's burial, and in the theater, a 40-day performance in his honor was held as Mary played the piano and sang Chris's favorite song. Soon after, Catherine married Michael, whom Mary addressed as her father, and the couple was pleased to see their daughter practicing the piano. Bruce, on the other hand, was watching the same program, but he had changed since his parents had kicked him out of the business after recognizing that he was driving it to ruin. Michael adopted her, giving her his last name and honorific during the awards ceremony. She said that she dedicated this victory to Chris, who gave her mother and I faith in life after the betrayal of her father. The young girl disappeared at the same time as the money, and while watching the news, he couldn't understand what was so familiar with this girl. How could he understand this if he almost never looked at his daughter? With this, we end today hoping that this video engaged you, and before you leave, comment to tell us while subscribing to our channel, and roll the key to hit the bell icon to get notified from us for the upcoming videos. See you all next time. Adios.